The squad of Drop Pod 1 trudged through the alien landscape, their boots sinking slightly into the rust-colored sand. The oppressive heat radiated from the ground, even through their specialized armor. In the distance, towering rock formations loomed like grotesque statues, their shadows stretching long and distorted across the desolate plains. "Anything on the scanners, Ben?" Markus asked, his voice tight. Ben shook his head. "Just the atmospheric readings, Sarge, and they're not pretty. High concentrations of methane and sulfur dioxide. Our filters are working overtime." Jean pointed towards a cluster of rocks. "Movement. About a click out, bearing west." Markus raised his binoculars, adjusting the focus. He could make out forms shifting in the heat haze. "Can't make them out clearly. Size and shape." "Difficult to say, Sarge, but they're bipedal and numerous," Jian replied. Jax hefted his malfunctioning heavy gun, his expression grim. "Wonderful. Just what we needed." Markus lowered his binoculars, a grim expression on his face. Their primary objective was to survey, not engage. With a malfunctioning heavy weapon and no clear picture of the hostiles, discretion was paramount. "All right, people, fall back. We're returning to the pod. We don't know what we're dealing with, and we're not in a position to start a fight. Let's regroup and reassess." They turned, retracing their steps towards the downed drop pod. As they did, one of the figures near the rocks raised its head, its eyes locking onto the squad. It let out a piercing shriek that echoed across the desolate landscape. The other figures turned, their movements jerky and unnatural. They began to advance. "They've spotted us!" Ben yelled, his voice laced with urgency. "They're coming this way!" "Move it! Faster!" Markus barked, increasing his pace. "Jian, cover our rear! Jax, try to get that damn gun working!" They sprinted across the rust-colored sand, the alien creatures gaining ground. Jean turned and fired a few bursts from his pulse rifle, slowing the creatures slightly, but they kept coming, their numbers seemingly endless. The pod, though damaged, offered the best chance of survival. They reached it and scrambled inside, Jian firing a final burst before diving through the hatch. Markus sealed the door just as the first of the creatures reached them. The metal hull shuddered as the creatures clawed and pounded on the outside. The retreat had failed to avoid contact, and the battle for survival had just begun, confined within the metal shell of their broken escape pod.